Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Salebox for the 2nd of December 2013. My name is TotalBiscuit with today's daily Steam deals. These deals certainly should run through to tomorrow, although Steam does say the sale ends on the 3rd. We don't know when on the 3rd. There doesn't appear to be a mention of that, but from what I'm seeing here, it seems that we will receive new deals, which are most likely going to be an encore sale for the most popular deals over the last few days. That's usually what they do. But nobody other than the mighty Gay Ben knows because Valve is a mysterious beast. So just bear that in mind. You should be able to get it tomorrow, but you might not. Who knows? Don't count on it. So let's begin, shall we, with Garrys Mod. 75% off, taking it down to $2.49, €2.49 in Tier 1, $1.99 in Tier 2, and £1.49 in the UK. I don't even know what to make of this anymore. Garrys Mod came out years ago. A very, very long time ago. It used to be free, and now it isn't. And there's all sorts of other weird things that appear to be going on within Garrys Mod. It was mostly just used for weird machinima and screenshots, and now you can play games within Garrys Mod, and all sorts of other strange stuff is going on. I cannot explain it. It's one of those games which I just have not kept track of. It's been continuously developed since 2006, and it's still going. I don't know. Don't ask me for advice on Garrys Mod. Just don't. It's not something I fully understand. The Stanley Parable, 40% off, takes it down to $9, €7.19, and £5.99. Is it a game? I think so. That's about all I really know about it. I have played it through to completion many times, which is the true ending. Well, it doesn't have a true ending, that's kind of the point. It is a rather interesting narrative experience which involves exploring an office and other things. And you are Stanley, or are you? It's hard to explain. I think you've got to watch the video that I did of it, because I do go fairly in-depth on my thoughts on the title, and it's very hard to explain what the game involves in just a short period of time. Would I recommend it, though? Yeah! It's a really, really unique experience, and I don't think you'll find it anywhere else. They absolutely deserve that purchase from you. It's definitely something you're gonna remember, even if you don't like it. Europa Universalis 4, 50% off, that is $20, €20, and £17.49. The Europeans are not doing amazingly well so far, my apologies for that. Europa Universalis 4 was received pretty damn well. It is a massive grand strategy game, one of the more popular titles from Paradox, and it actually came out without it being chock full of horrible bugs, which is nice. It's a fairly rare thing indeed, I'm afraid, for the guys at Paradox when it comes to their grand strategies, but this is one of their best, if not their actual best. It's pretty great, and it's been described as where you go once you're sick of Civilization because Civ was too easy. It's extremely complex, it's got a massive amount of depth to it, focusing on trade, diplomacy, warfare, exploration, all manner of different things. If you have the patience for it, you will get an awful lot out of it. It's really, really good, but it's definitely not for everyone, simply due to the level of complexity that you can expect with the title. Age of Empires 2 HD Edition, 75% off, that is $5, €4.74, and £3.74. I think calling this the HD Edition might be a little unreasonable. And the reason I say that is that they barely did anything with the graphics whatsoever. It just looks smaller and more zoomed out, because that's how they dealt with the resolution. They haven't completely overhauled the graphics, they haven't completely overhauled the animations, which are the things that really stand out. You know, I can get over the graphics, because I quite like that particular aesthetic. What I can't get over is the fact that the animations look ancient and completely out of place in a modern title. There really isn't an awful lot to recommend here, because it's basically the same as the original Age of Empires 2. You would have expected more from an HD edition, and the multiplayer is still having problems to this very day for some people. This is over 7 months after the damn game came out, so do consider that as a problem. It is a very, very big problem. They also released an expansion, The Forgotten, which was actually a commercialized version of a mod that was originally created for Age of Empires 2. But it's just so hard to recommend an HD version that really doesn't do an awful lot to actually bring the game up to date. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, 50% off, that is $30, €30, and €34.99 in Tier 2. What is this? This is opposite day. I've never seen Tier 2 prices be higher, but apparently that is a thing now. I've also got £27.49 in Great Britain and a whopping $54.99 in Australia. Well, those are all a big stack of reasons not to get this bloody thing. There's gotta be a mistake with that pricing somewhere because Black Ops 2 is not $80 by default. But one way or the other, even with this discount, it's hard to recommend it, even if there is still a fairly lively online scene because Ghosts is bloody awful. Black Ops 2 is a good PC port with the things that you would expect a PC port to have, and is fairly well optimized. Ghosts, on the other hand, is an absolute joke of a game that doesn't run well on a $5,000 computer. So, as you can probably expect, I would recommend Black Ops 2 over Ghosts. I would also say that Black Ops 2 is about the only vestige of innovation that this franchise has had within the last 5 years, so that's also something to consider. But at that price point, it's still very difficult to justify. It's last year's game, they won't be supporting it anymore, and even if it was actually a lot of fun, it's still nowhere near as cheap as I would have hoped it to be at this point. But this is Activision we're talking about. They're not known for giving good discounts. Tomb Raider, 80% off, that is $13.99, €9.99 in Tier 1, and again, this weird reversal, $13.99 in Tier 2. I don't know if this is just a mistake on the price conversions that we have here, but that is very unusual. Also, $8.99 in the UK. It's a really deep discount, but it looks weaker than it actually is because it was a $60 title originally, so you do have the situation where, yes, $13.99 is in fact 80% off $60, give or take. Is it good? Yeah, it is, actually. I was pretty impressed with Tomb Raider for the most part. I didn't expect to enjoy it that much, but I think it's cut back on some of the stuff that people really enjoyed within Tomb Raider, i.e. raiding the tombs. There's actually not that much platforming and scaling and puzzles that you need to actually worry about in this game, which is why I liked it, because I didn't like any of those things, but fans of the old-school Tomb Raider games will probably be disappointed by how much they've really neutered the original concept. Regardless, it is a really good Uncharted-style adventure, mostly combat-focused with some exploration, a little bit of crafting here and there, and a little bit of platforming and scaling of walls and cliff faces with the climbing axe, although nowhere near as much as previously. For me, that's a blessing though, because the platforming in the original games pissed me off, the camera angles were always wrong, they were highly frustrating, and chock full of instant death sequences. The only big complaint I've got about Tomb Raider, I think, has got to be the fact that the first hour is very linear and littered with quick time events, which is something that the game certainly did not need. Regardless, once it opens up, it's a hell of a good time, and a very impressive looking game as well to boot. Dust, an Elysian Tale, 75% off, that is $3.74, €3.49, and £2.99. Stop watching this and go buy this game immediately, because it's phenomenally good. Pay no attention to the character design. Some people are going to go furry, furry, furry. Just think back to the good old days, when anthropomorphic animal characters were the stuff of Disney cartoons and not the stuff of Rule 34. And if your head is in that place, you can deal with Dust, where there are a bunch of other animal characters. The voice acting's not amazing, I've got to say, but it's a really fun 2D action game, and the fact that it was made by a single person, and I really mean that, by the way, I'm not just exaggerating and saying he did the majority of the work, he did pretty much all the work, including all of the art, which just blows my mind. How does someone have that coding talent and that artistic talent? It's incredible. It's an amazing game. It really is, and I'm so glad that it came to PC after having a decent run on the Xbox 360, so please get Dust, an Elysian Tale. I could not recommend it more. Scribblenauts Unlimited, 50% off, that is $10 at €10.49 and £7.49. There is also a discount on Scribblenauts Unmasked, but I would say that you should skip that and just get Unlimited. I know, Unlimited is the older one, but it's also the better one, in my opinion. It did a way better job of dealing with the puzzles, it did a way better job of just letting you run wild, and having a set of more interesting puzzles to make your way through. If you don't know what Scribblenauts is all about, it's a game about a kid and his magic notebook, which allows you to conjure things into being simply by writing them down. So things interact in a very strange way, and I've got to say Unlimited does the best job of this with the best puzzle selection. Unmasked, to me, is far too combat-focused, and the combat is the worst part of these games, so having that happen was certainly, in my opinion, a very large mistake. And I think that you will have more fun with Unlimited as a direct result. It's the kind of thing that encourages you to solve problems in the most ridiculous of ways, so if you're a creative and chaotic-minded kind of individual, then Scribblenauts Unlimited should give you an outlet for that. And that brings us to the deal of the day, which has got to be Shadow Warrior. 75% off, that is $10, €8.74, €6.24, and £7.49. This is a ridiculous discount, and the reason that I say this is Shadow Warrior's barely been out a couple of months. It's a reinterpretation of the 3D Realms classic by Flying Wild Hog, which is a lot of the ex-guys from People Can Fly that made Painkiller, some of the Bulletstorm devs in there as well, and it is a really good FPS. It's got a bit of a melee focus on it, assuming that that's what you actually want to do. It has a katana with a wide variety of different moves, and it also has a rather formidable arsenal of weapons with secondary fire modes. It is in the classic style, although I am a little disappointed that, fairly similar to the previous game from these guys, Hard Reset, it didn't really have the maze-like design of old FPS, but it does have a really good focus on combat. What limited cutscenes it does have are very funny, and it lets you open doors yourself, which is very nice indeed. It's graphically very impressive, it runs very well, and it also has fast and furious combat. I think you'll find it very, very satisfying, and this discount is unusually large for something so new, and this should be something that you take advantage of before they realize their horrible mistake. Alright folks, that's me done for the day. Thank you very much for watching the Salebox, and I will see you next time.